Soren Kierkegaard wrote that life can only be understood backwards, but must be lived forwards. Grandparents and friends, now that I'm over 50, it gives me license to use the word old, or at least older for myself. And I'm reaching that age where I get to use the term wisdom when I mean old. It's a code word, I think. And so grandparents, I just want you to know I feel your wisdom. And I've become increasingly aware, and maybe you have as well, that having achieved this level of wisdom, sharing stories about my life might be categorized as oral history. But despite that alarming possibility, I'm going to be helping to encourage you to be even more of a storyteller with your grandchildren and your special friends who are here today. And I'm asking you to think about stories from your life that relate and connect to the values of caring and of community that our school is lifting up this year. Community has long been a Derryfield core value. And although it may seem corny to the kids, for us, community is like our buzzword for family. You create experiences and you convey values to your children and your grandchildren as a way to promote a sense of what you think is important and a sense of belonging in family. The Derryfield faculty and staff seek to promote that same sensibility via organizations ranging from advisory groups to choruses to clubs and teams and theatrical casts. Our longest-serving faculty member, Dennis Holland, may have gotten it best last year when he spoke of the connection between community and caring from actually this stage and this podium last year. And we're going to take a moment to hear Dennis now.
I've been thinking about something for quite a while now. I spent most of the summer and the fall in either a hospital or a rehab. What I experienced was an almost overwhelming amount of caring from all parts of the Derryfield community, current students and alumni, colleagues, and current and past Derryfield parents. There were a few Derryfield people that made a special effort to really help me when I needed it the most. To them, I'm especially grateful, and I hope they believe that if our situations were reversed, I would do exactly the same thing for them. What this all pointed out to me is that a phenomenon I had experienced before at Derryfield, but not to this degree, a school community of adults and students who genuinely care about each other. In my experience, Derryfield really does what they say they do, that we really care about each other. Our feelings in that regard are as genuine as I've ever seen. In the month that I've been back at school, I've experienced the same kind of caring. Students who I do not know and who do not know me have welcomed me back and helped me with answers to my questions. I have seen students who care for each other and for the adults in the community, and adults who really care for students. My senses in this regard were, of course, deepened while I was away, but I plan to commit myself to being even more caring about others in the future. I might even lead a campaign to make caring a sixth Derryfield core value. I think it's that important. Working with caring people is just one of the reasons why I'm proud to be a part of the Derryfield community.
I'll be happy to hear that the Board of Trustees accepted Dennis's proposal and made caring the newest of Derryfield's core values. And I visited with Dennis yesterday, and I told him that I would be showing that clip, and he said, good, because the more people who think about it in today's world, the better. Retired Stanford professor and moral philosopher Nell Noddings did a lot of work about this concept of caring and schools, and she certainly shares Dennis's regard for the value of caring. Professor Noddings wrote extensively about the importance of schools teaching an ethic of care. She wrote, "A teacher cannot talk this ethic, she must live it, because everything we do as teachers has moral overtones. While teachers cannot replace parents and grandparents, I want you to know that, and I want you to be comfortable knowing that our teachers, and I know that to some of you, some of our teachers look like they could be your grandchildren, but that those teachers care deeply about the young people here. Kids being kids, they don't have to realize this, but our faculty works actually in teams at every grade level to make sure that every student here has a trusted adult in this community to be there for them. Professor Noddings also wrote that morality is an active virtue which requires two kinds of caring. It combines natural caring, for example, that of a mother to a baby, and also ethical caring, which is a commitment to acting in a caring way for people even if they are outside of one's clan. Ethical caring is a discipline. It's an internal voice saying, I must, and it moves a person from feeling to acting. Caring can't just be a passing feeling. It needs to be an ethic that students act upon if students are to be their best selves. As a school, Derryfield has invested in helping students develop ethical practice. The school now has a faculty position, the Director of Service and Leadership, to help students practice turning caring into action. And this position has produced really an explosion in student involvement in the school community, the Manchester community, the American community, and in fact abroad. Derryfield's Builders Club and Key Club, which are community service clubs, plus standing service commitments and engagements in the urban elementary schools, and many, many other projects are part of our local involvement, while most of our global trips, from Habitat for Humanity to Nepal, have a service component to them. Now, you may think that these wonderful young people sitting near you with their phones and their different fashions are different from you or from me when we were teenagers. For example, I was a 1980s teenager, and so I find it very hard to understand why these students don't favor large shoulder pads in their sweaters, in their shirts. I don't really get it. It's just another intergenerational mystery, I guess. But actually, these students really share with us sort of that deep question that people of this age, and really of all ages, continue to ask: how do I lead a good and successful life? And what I hope is that you leave here energized to help your young people navigate these serious times that we live in with a sense of optimism and vision. As they process this sort of constant and extensive news that is so challenging, young people need us to encourage them to develop the muscles of caring and of volunteerism. So please talk with them, tell them stories about your own volunteerism, your support for family members and for friends that they may not even know about, and your philanthropy. Your stories have the power of truth, dare I say oral history, and will make a difference, because really human beings learn best through story. So I just want to speak for the faculty and say we really appreciate your willingness to partner with us in helping your students become their best selves, and your presence today is part of that partnership. The older I get, the more I think that presence is one of the greatest gifts that we give each other. Thanks so much for being with us today.